what's up guys? So I'm back. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. Just had some side projects going on. This was one of them and it's not even complete yet. Just hung the ceiling fan up last night. This is an old planter shed with some rotted slatting work and a rotten seal. Don't mind all the debris out there. Had to rip some stuff out. It wasn't framed correctly to begin with. It's slipping off the pad, so I reframed it with 4x4s. Box beams on the edges. Still working on that side. Wired in a new ceiling fan. There's an overhead light. Kind of making it a little covered area for the wife and myself to hang out at, since the weather's getting nice. But getting back to the point at hand, we're going to work on the Super Cub today. So just hit 300 miles, I think 304 miles. We'll do an early oil change and do a second video where I'm going to show how to lube the chain. So first step, run the bike at least 5 minutes. That should be enough. I did like a little 12-mile run around town, came back. But it's important, run the bike, get the oil warm, get it flowing, get it circulated, and then let it sit for about 5 minutes. That way all the oil comes back to the bottom of the pan. Alright, so run the bike, let it sit for about 5 minutes. Don't let it sit all day because the oil's going to cool down. You're going to have to go back, cycle it through again, do the same thing. Next step, take out your fuel plug. I've already removed mine. It just threads out right here. And if you look down here, if you're not familiar, this doesn't actually have a dipstick. It has a spyglass right here, so you can see the oil level. So I'm going to set this up on the other side. It's a little easier to get to the drain plug from the left-hand side. And I'll be right back. All right, we're on the other side. If you're wondering what this is, they were in my Navi oil change video. These are puppy pads. They're for house training dogs. We had one for a little while and had a bunch of leftover puppy pads. These make great oil spill catches. They soak up pretty much all of it, unless you're dumping like 7 or 8 quarts out, and you just fold them up and you're done. They're pretty cheap on Craigslist because people buy a ton of them and they have them left over and there's no need for them. So keep your eye out for stuff like that. Tools we're going to need for today. We're going to need a ratchet with a 18mm socket. We're going to need a torque wrench, technically optional, but we're going to torque down the drain bolt. Funnel, long slender neck, make sure it's clean. We're going to need a rag, more paper towels, and we're going to need the oil. So I'm using good old Honda genuine GM4 1030. So I probably will switch the Super Cub to synthetic down the road, but I like to break in any machine on conventional unless it comes factory with synthetic. I don't know how true it is or not, but conventional wisdom is that synthetic is a little too slick for break-in, so we'll stick with the conventional stuff. Hope I said that right. Anyway, we're going to slide the drain pan in. Now, my drain pan's a little tall, so we're not going to have a buku's room, but we should be good. Move you guys a little bit here. Pull the cap off my drain pan. So I'm gonna kind of get you guys in here so you can see there are actually, let's move the drain pan out this way for a second. There are actually 2 drain plugs. So the one we're concerned with today is right here. One closest to the outside of the bike, closest to your brake lever. It's right there. So this one's for oil. This is one we're going to mess with today. So be mindful if you've just ran this bike, everything's going to be hot to the touch, especially the exhaust, which is right there. So watch your hands. Put some glovies on, help you out a little bit. So I'm going to slide the pan under, take this loose, and we'll get rolling. Sorry, my tripod is not quite short enough to give you the best possible view of this, but I'm pretty sure most of you can figure out how to run a bolt out of the bottom of a crankcase. So I actually watched Quasi-Motard's video of him doing his oil change. Not that I didn't know how to do one, I was just on YouTube. I watch his videos all the time. Figure I'd give that one a view. And he did an excellent job with it. Good God, that is on there. Yeah. That did not want to come loose. Alright, so we're not using the gold plug that he used, but we are going to replace it with a magnetic drain plug. This one I got from Steady Garage. There's the part number for it. It's not a bad idea, especially on vehicles without oil filters, to put a magnetic drain plug in. It's not going to catch that much, but it does help. So pull your drain plug out, or drain bolt, sorry. Either way, pull it out slowly, just so you don't make a mess. Remember, this is going to be warm. It's still a little hot to the touch. It's not too bad though. And we're going to let that drain all the way out. So oil looks pretty healthy. It's yeah, it's not too bad. Good color on it. So oil color is not always an indicator on oil health. It is an indicator, but your oil being dark doesn't necessarily mean that it's dirty or that it's not working properly. Some oils, and really some oil brands, just darken quicker than others. It's not that big a deal. Where you're concerned is if you see that the oil is just way too thick, way thicker than it should be, or way thinner than it should be. If you see odd colors in it, like if you see white in it, that's definitely a problem. Or if which you wouldn't see on Super Cub, but if it looks like it has water in it, if it smells like gasoline, those are the things that should make you worry. But just regular oil changes, it can look brand new when it comes out after 3,000 miles. It could look like black coffee, but not a big deal. So I'm not gonna make you watch the oil drain. I'm gonna pause this and we'll be right back. All right, so it's finished running out. There's still a few little drips, but that's okay. We're not worried about it. Like I said, you're not going to get it all out of there, but let it drain as long as you can stand it. Just put it that way. So I'm comparing the two drain plugs, factory versus the magnetic one sourced from City Garage. Height wise, they're pretty much on the dot. A few less you sacrifice some threads on this one. There's still plenty of meat there. The head of the bolt's got a little bit more on it. It's a little taller. That's not going to cause any problems. Just make sure you install it with the washer. You're putting the factory one in. First couple oil changes. If you don't reef down on these will last you a couple oil changes, these washers, but best practice is to replace them each time. So just go in there, thread it up by hand, get it finger tight. There we go. This one was giving me a little bit of trouble. There it goes. Alright, so just run it up finger tight. for now. My hands are slick, so it's easier said than done. So we are going to torque this up. Like I said, it's not totally necessary to do so, but it's the proper way to do things. It's not a bad idea. And as I mentioned in previous videos, anything that goes into the crankcase, I torque it up. I'm kind of a stickler with that, but if you don't have a torque wrench, you can't make it happen. Just don't reef down on it like crazy hard. Get it snug. Watch it. If it drips, snug it up a little bit more. So 18 foot-pounds. The trusty MOTO torque wrench. Fed for quite a while now. Just gonna run it up slow. Use the ratchet and the torque wrench until it feels snug. Go. As soon as you hear a click, come back. One tooth. Give it one more. Just make sure you got it on there. Take your rag. Brake cleaner if you got it. Carb cleaner works too. If you want to spray down there, just get it ultra clean. But it is an important step to clean up after yourself, because that's how you're going to tell if you got it tight enough or if you got a leak. So not a bad idea to give it a nice clean. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this. I am going to set up on the other side and show you how to feel. Alright, so we're back on the other side. It's really nothing special here, guys, but just make sure your funnel's clean. Blow it out. Don't stick your lips to it. I've made that mistake a few times. Alright, just drop it in there, and 0.8 quarts. So if you look, there's a graduated measure on the side of your quart. These are this and most oils. We're going to slow down right about at the 300 mil mark. And so we should be coming right down to about the 200 mil mark. We're going to slow down here, check it, just make sure we don't overfill. I've mentioned it previously. You're always better off underfilling a touch than ever overfilling. One, it's a lot easier to add than take away oil, and two, overfilling is it's a big problem. You're gonna have big problems with it when you do it. So please don't do it. We'll extend the tripod here a little bit so you guys can get a better angle. Sorry, I'm doing this in the middle of filming. That's all right. It's cheap, janky, sun-packed tripod. It is what it is. All right, so just add it slowly. Don't rush this. Oh, yeah. Don't let it slip and spill on your glove. Just take it easy. Let it do its thing. So when it starts to feel a little bit light, we're gonna check, see where we're at. We are. This is almost impossible to read this thing in this light. We have just started, so we got a good bit to go. And guys, I cannot stress the importance of not overfilling. You will have problems. You will cause damage to your engine. Without a shadow, there's no doubt. You will cause damage. So, if you suspect you've overfilled, let the oil settle. 15-20 minutes or so. Come back, and you can try to let some of the oil out by cracking the drain plug loose and just letting it out slowly. If you don't have success with that, well, you're going to start over and you just wasted your oil. So try to be mindful of that. Try not to overfill. That's why I say slow down right about at the 300 mil mark. Check to see what's going on. We're going to look into this spyglass here, and I always like to come back. I always like to come back after the fact, check it again. But if you look, you've got 2 hashes here. So the idea is that you do not want to be a mile high over the second hash, the top hash here. So it works pretty similar to a dipstick. So same idea. That's obviously low if you're on the bottom, and if you're too far over this top here, you're obviously overfilled. So just bear that in mind, but let this settle for a few minutes before you add any more if it looks low. If it looks right, again, let it settle for a few minutes, come back and check on it. You may need to add a little bit more. Mine's just hair low. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this settle, be right back. All right, I've given it about 5 minutes. Came back, looked at it. Looks like I need to add just a touch more. And that should do it. All right, that is where I need it to be. Fantastic. So last step, actually pull the funnel out and replace the fill plug, which is of course 20 feet away from me. And with the fill plug, make sure that the O-ring is set properly on it before you replace it. Don't try to thread it in with the O-ring halfway up the threads, because it's going to want to walk out as you take this off. And make sure it's clean. We're going to take a little bit of fresh oil and rub over the O-ring with it. So anytime you're messing with anything oil related and you've got an O-ring, rubber gasket, something like that, it's a good idea. Put a little fresh motor oil on the O-ring. That's going to help keep it supple, make it last longer, and it's going to help keep it from tearing when it's being ran up or ran back out. This doesn't have to be tightened down to death. Just get it nice and snug. A little white. That's it, fellas. Oil change complete. So I always go the extra mile. I'll actually run this bike a few miles down the road, warm it back up, come back and check the oil level, and sometimes I'll do that a couple times, but it's not really necessary to do it a couple times, but it is a good idea to do it at least once. So hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, the next video, which should be up today as well, I'm going to show how to lube the chain the easy way. All right, like, subscribe, and comment, guys. Appreciate it. Later.